Hey guys, welcome back. Let me get away from that because I just saw the code went red. Welcome back. Hope you guys are having a blessed day. You know, it's iCast week, and we've been doing lots of iCast videos with some of our friends and people that I find interesting. Yesterday we had Chris with us. He was telling us some about all the great products of Plano. Congratulations, by the way. I'll say that in a second. Hold on, Chris. But today he's going to tell us about Frabill. So let me reintroduce you to Chris Russell. Chris, thank you for being back, man. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me. It's good. Always good to do it.
Now, congratulations. You won best of again.
Yeah, we took a little hardware home for the Edge 2 years in a row. Edge Family won last year, and the Edge Flex, our newest box, which we discussed with you yesterday, won for this year. So very excited about that.
Do they, when you guys win, because I've never asked anybody this, when you all win something like that, is there like a broad email, or are there people high-fiving? Are they excited about this?
We had a virtual high five yesterday.
High five.
Because normally, yeah, woo, yay for everybody. We normally would go out to a dinner, maybe celebrate, a little happy hour at the hotel bar,
Yeah.
something along those lines. But we were all had a group text message. Myself, a couple of the engineers, our product guy, our product guy from actually the Plano hunt side.
Mm-hmm.
He's still part of the team. My boss, everyone was kind of bouncing back and forth. We were waiting for the video to start at iCast with anticipation.
Yeah.
And when we won, we most certainly had it. We all have raised a toast by ourselves at home, but collectively for the Plano Frabill team.
Yeah, it was cool to see yesterday. I knew I voted for you as is, so you didn't have to worry about that. Today we're going to talk. Say that again.
You were the swing.
Yeah. I'm from Florida, so I don't know if anything's ever swing down here. Today we're going to talk about Frabill. So why don't you tell us a little bit what's been going on with Frabill this year?
Okay, yeah. Frabill is a company that's been around a really long time. I'm lucky enough to be able to work on two great brands in my marketing position. So Plano and Frabill are part of the same company. We ship products together, but still very distinct brands. Frabill focuses entirely on nets and bait management, along with ice fishing gear. They have a whole segment of ice shelters and fishing rods for ice and different things. Not that you care a lot in Florida about that, but it's important to us.
Yes.
And then Plano, focuses on the storage side. So they go well together, really no conflicts between them. And they're both what we call very useful products. We kind of talk internally is that a net isn't always the thing you think about the most, but you really need it when the trophy is on the line, right? You expect your net to perform. It's got to be perfect, no failures. So it's a key item to a lot of people's success.
Yeah. Now, what makes a better net for us dummies who fish from the bank 99% of the time and miss half the fish because we do something stupid with our rods? What makes a good net over the crap nets out there?
There's a huge price range, right? You can go to the local discounter, let's call it retailer,
Yeah,
and you can buy a net for $12.99, and then you can buy our most expensive Trophy Haul Predator net for over $200. So the range is very wide. What I always recommend people do when they look at the net, think about the investment you want to make. Some of them are just use a sheet metal screw that holds the handle to the hoop.
Mm-hmm.
There's really no yoke there, a reinforced item that connects it all together. That is always going to be the place it fails. When you pick up a net of fish and it just folds over like a wet paper sack, it's that componentry. The other thing, and we'll talk about it today specifically, is the bag or the net sack. You would. They're made out of a lot of materials. Some of the most cheap ones are made out of just a woven nylon. They're very rough. They're hard on the fish. If you're catching fish to take home for a fish fry, you're catching panfish or you plan on keeping everything, that's one thing. But if you want to practice any kind of catch and release, those are very hard on the fish. So we make a whole line of conservation nets Actually, that's what I've got today. We'll talk about, and they're rubber coated, or the nets themselves are rubber. They really protect the slime coat, and that makes a big difference in just what we do for a sport and protecting the resource.
What about I just know this from personal. You get one of those ones that have nylons and use a treble hook. You got to lure with a treble hook. The next thing you're fighting to get the hook out of the fish's face, and then you got to spend 25 minutes to unbarb it out of the net, out of that fabric, and then you end up having to replace the hooks in it all because you have to bend it all up.
Yeah. You either end up cutting your net, right?
Yeah.
Or the hooks get deformed, or the fish is pinned in the net and it's all a woven up, snarly mess. And then you're not fishing for 10 minutes because you're fighting with your gear. So another big benefit of a conservation net or a rubber coated net is that hooks don't snag nearly as much. A rubber net, they virtually snag none.
Mm-hmm.
So there's most certainly big benefits there. As far as just ease of fishing, especially if you're throwing anything like a topwater plug or a crankbait with treble hooks.
Yeah. Now, what about length? Is there a certain length? The average, is there one size that fits all? I guess that's the best way to put it.
It's really a matter of personal preference,
Okay.
of course. Some of it is dependent on the craft you're in. If you're a bank angler or you have a boat with a high sidewall, like a deep V style boat, or if you're fishing with a long leader, guys that fish, trolling, maybe an application where you've got a long leader. You can't bring the fish that close to the boat with a long leader, or you just can't reach them if you've got a high sideboard of your boat. So a long net handle is very helpful. We make telescoping that'll extend as well as they just slide through the yoke. And then we make one-handed nets that are small. That's perfect for a kayak angler or someone wade fishing. Someone that wants to hike in, then it's not as cumbersome. So it's really based on what you're doing the most and what's your personal preference. Some people like a long net all the time. Some prefer something a little more compact because storage in their boat might be an option that they don't have, right? A real simplistic flat skiff in Florida maybe doesn't have a great place for a big net. So you opt for a smaller net.
So let's see the new stuff for this year that's coming out for now. Are these things going to come out this year, or they're going to come out in 2021?
They're available October of this year. The first round of nets are actually in stock in real small quantities, like for our sales reps that are going out to the buyers that we're using for samples, like I am today. But we've got the main order on the way, and we do most of the final assembly in Illinois. So it's components from U.S. and overseas, but the nets are assembled here. So our turnaround is quick, and they'll be in stock this fall for sure.
That's awesome. Okay, so what is the first one?
Well, let's talk about nets. These are all in our conservation net family, where we did that whole series. We introduced a net called the Conservation Series 10 years ago, this year, 2010. And it was all geared around protecting fish, around catch and release, and all of it have these features that are helpful to keep the mortality of fish down.
Yeah.
We all, as anglers, are worried about our resource. We want to protect our fisheries. These go a long way in helping that. The first one, and nets are always tough to show on screen.
Yeah.
We'll do our best with it. So the first one is one of our rubber bag nets. This is in our conservation family, and it has just got the standard handle, Steve. So I'm sorry, actually this one is the telescoping handle. So you can give this a twist and it extends. It's just a cam lock handle.
Oh, that's
and
brilliant.
It also locks into place into the yoke. So you can extend it to this length, and then you can extend it even farther.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got a lot of length here. So 36 inches up to 5 feet or 60 inches is its full extension. And a couple things to note here. The bottom of this net is really flat, which allows the fish to lay comfortably. Normally a flat bottom net is better for the fish. It holds them in a more natural position, and they don't thrash as much in a net that's got a flat bottom. We talked about features a minute ago, and that's an easy one to overlook sometimes too. One thing we did with our rubber nets, they're all clear. So there's a lot of trend of people going to a clear net. It's not as easy to see in the water. The fish doesn't spook off. But we've got large holes all the way through it. So it moves through the water quickly, and it cuts down some weight. The downside of rubber nets is they're normally heavier than a regular net.
Is there a certain depth that you make the netting itself? Is there ones that are a little bit shallower compared to deeper ones?
We do. Nets that we call like our Predator series net, maybe for offshore species like a cobia, stripers up north, salmon. They have a very deep bag because that fish might be 36 inches long or longer. For freshwater fishing, a more shallower depth, and a rubber net is almost always more shallow because it stretches and gives.
Okay.
You don't need the same depth as a nylon coated net. So you'll see this bag is fairly shallow, but if you put a heavy fish in there, this will actually stretch and have some give to it.
And how much is that retail price?
The price of these are going to be there's a whole family in the telescoping handle. They're from $69 to $99.
Okay.
So depending on the net, they come in different hoop sizes.
Yeah.
You can kind of get a gauge of what kind of species you're after for your personal need, and then different bag types as well. We had
a question right off the bat. J. Robin Golden asked, "What's the best one for catfish? What would you recommend for a catfish person?"
Well, probably one of our bigger hoop sizes, and I would say you probably would like a telescoping handle because you or a bottom rig of some side, so you have some leader out there, and it'd be nice to get that added reach. Our biggest hoop, I've got a cheat sheet up here I'll kind of go off of a little bit, but we make a hoop up that's 23 by 26 inches, and so that's a good sized hoop. In other families of nets, we make them up to a 40-inch hoop, like a musky net or whatever. Yeah, you could catch small children in our big net, for sure.
I got one in the other room.
We'll chase them around and get them. If you go onto our website, Frabill.com, we make about 100 different nets, and there are really a lot of variations there. A catfish angler that's doing all catch and keep, that may have a different net need than one for someone that's releasing a lot of fish, or someone that's catching big oversized blues or channels. You may need a much bigger net. We make a net called the Big Kahuna that's got a lifetime warranty. It's got an oversized yoke, giant handle. We've got a catfish angler that fishes the Mississippi. He says that net, he replaces it every 50,000 pounds of catfish.
Holy cow.
So he's a catfish guide. He guides about 250 days a year.
How big are these catfish?
He said that's about 18 months of catfishing. So, he catches anywhere from 5 to 45-pound fish on a normal basis.
Holy cow.
And he said they're good for about 50,000 pounds before they kind of get worn out and just torn up. So,
in normal, like the one you have there, is there a warranty on those ones too?
Yeah, we have a 1 year kind of unlimited warranty on this. Obviously, if it looks like this got crushed in the car door or you ran it over, we question it. But other than that, we're pretty flexible. We try to work with people. In some cases, the bag is replaceable. Mm-hmm. So if you just got a tear in it, we might just send you a replacement bag. If there was a failure somewhere else, then we would replace the entire net.
That's cool. Okay, which one's next? I kind of like that one, by the way.
So in the conservation family, we'll stick with that. But now I've got one with a rubberized coated bag.
Oh, that's okay. I see it.
Very similar net. You can see it's got a little more depth. Again, nets are tough on screen.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna get myself off here. Hold on. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. So you can kind of maybe see these side by side a little bit.
Yep.
The mesh bag doesn't have any stretch or give to it, so we need a deeper bag here to allow the fish to stay comfortably inside and secure. This is just more of a telescoping handle where it would just collapse for storage, and then you would just pull it open. And one thing we need to talk about, we missed it when we were talking about inexpensive nets. One thing you ought to do in the store, anytime you go to buy a net, pull it off the rack, and when it's collapsed like this, just pull it open like that.
Yeah.
One quick, easy handle. A cheap net, this will come straight out and be in your hand. And then all of a sudden, you've got the hoop in one hand and the handle in the other. And it's because we have a patent on this yoke. You can kind of see this ramp that is here, and it's designed to catch the lock. And because we make our handle an oblong, this shape, it can't twist. So that has to engage every time.
Oh, nice.
There's no misfire. You could actually have this laying on the deck of your boat, put your foot in the hoop, and grab the handle and expand it with one hand if you're fighting a fish. So you know you're ready for business every time that clicks.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to come off. It's not going to be spinning around. It really is a feature that is often overlooked, but is critical, especially if you're fishing by yourself and trying to catch a fish and then net one all at the same time. You know this works every single time without question.
Yeah. How much is that one? That's a nice looking.
This one is our standard net without the telescoping. This is going to start at $49 and go to $79.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yep. A $49 net is really an investment. It's $50. You think about your other gear, what you'd spend on a rod, what you might spend on a lure in some cases, right?
Hold on, let me put my face up. I've never spent $50 on a lure. Taking myself off just in case my wife watches this.
Yeah, you've spent more, right? You've spent more. And you're going to have a net like that for a very long time, right? If you don't leave it laying on the deck all week long when you're not fishing out in the sun, rinse it off after you come back from a trip, a net like that will virtually last you 5-10 years. Low, and it really is the difference between landing that trophy fish and losing that trophy fish sometimes.
That's cool. Okay, do we have any others? What's next?
We do. So I'm going to jump to a different net within this family. This is brand new for us this year, and this is called the Ultralight Conservation Net.
I was going to ask about weights. How heavy are those other two?
All of them are designed to be fairly light. I don't have the actual weight rating on these, but, the rubber net's always going to be a little heavier.
Yeah.
You gain almost no tangling with the rubber net, but you give up a little weight advantage. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit heavier. Now, we've done what we can to cut weight out, but it always is going to have a little more weight to it. This net probably weighs 4 pounds, something like that, maybe.
So it's not bad.
This is a fairly good size hoop, right?
Yeah.
You could land a really good fish in that. So this net is about 20% lighter. It's got a lighter hoop and it's got a carbon fiber handle. If you can kind of see that, it's got this great lightweight handle. It's actually cut weight quite a bit. And we took a few cues from our Trophy Haul net family, which has got all the bells and whistles. It's got everything in it. We actually made this hoop squared off. You can see in lieu of the rounded hoop, it's more of a square. And this is designed to fit down in rod lockers.
Oh.
So a lot of guys, especially a bass angler or someone that, maybe a small flat skiff in Florida, something like that, you want to be able to put this in the locker. This actually fits down inside that pretty well. It fits in my 23-foot bay boat very comfortably down in the rod lockers.
That's cool. We had a question. Matt from Arizona said, if it's on the boat, how hot will it get and will it hold up to the UV?
No problem with that. Yeah. All these are, they're aluminum handle. They're anodized aluminum. All the metal parts are. The rubber we do a UV coating in. And, Arizona, South Florida, Texas, some of these states that it's really tough. The sun eats everything. It's almost as bad as salt water in some cases.
Yeah, salt water kills everything.
It will break down after time, but we do our best to kind of protect everything that we can. You don't want it laying out when you store your boat, leaving it out on the deck and subject to all that. But, in a normal day's fishing, you shouldn't have to worry about your net being out in the sun.
Yeah, cool. Okay, what's next?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Keep going.
It's always a good idea, to like anything, when you're getting ready to net your fish, if you can get that net wet before you scoop them, it can be really tough. A bump board that's laying in the sun and you put your fish on it, or it's on the hot deck, all that is really harmful if you're trying to release your catch. So a little bit of water goes a long way in cooling the net off right away when you're going to net them.
Yeah, I understand that. I think everyone understands that too. Okay, what's that? Show me the next one. I'm excited.
Yeah. So just one last thing. This has got that same yoke on it, reinforced by us, and that one that just locks in place every single time. But
yeah, I love that.
As we've shown this net to anglers, this is one that our kayak anglers are dying to get their hands on. This net is so light that it actually floats.
Oh.
It's got a long reach, and many kayak anglers like a real small net, But anybody that's fishing a tournament, or they want to catch a fish and be able to lay it next to the boat, and then while they get their bump board ready or they get their measuring device ready, whatever it might be, this has got a nice deep bag that's going to allow them to do that. It's kind of a good all-around net, and its weight helps a kayak angler too. They're always real conscious about how much weight they're putting on their boat.
Yeah.
So another great option for this net.
That's a good one too. These are all right. Good ones.
Well, we try. We do our best. So that's the conservation family. There's 10 total SKUs in that family, in the telescoping or just extending handle. In different bag sizes, there's 9, and then that ultralight net is just one single SKU.
Yeah, I like the whole thought about the conservation behind it, making sure that it's rubber, not mesh or cloth or whatever it is. Not having it so it isn't snag proof, because I can tell you, quite honestly, I don't think I've ever not had. I might have a cheap one in the garage that I have never used, and I think it might have 2 lures stuck in it right now with treble hooks. Just not from using, like blowing out the garage, and on my desk it might have flung over the side, and I'm just like, okay, I don't need that lure anyway. But that treble hooks get stuck in those cloth ones nonstop, so having that is good. I imagine that also having the plastic makes it so it doesn't deteriorate as fast too.
Yeah, it does. Yep. It really is a feature that you don't know how good it is till you have the problem like you're describing.
Yeah.
It's if you fish with treble hooks and you have that inexpensive nylon net, you're just asking for problems, either from that or, who wants to lose a 10-pound largemouth at the boat, or the trophy fish that maybe your son or daughter is landing. It's the fish of a lifetime for them, and your net explodes right at the boat or folds up because it just can't take it. That's heartbreaking. And for $50, you can kind of avoid pretty much on that all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's great. Well, if everybody wants, if they want more information, they can go to Frabill.com, correct?
They can. Yes. Frabill.com.
And they'll be available tell us when.
In October. October, November of this year. So, Steve, I do have one more family of nets. I only have one net, but I'll show you real quick if you have time.
I'd love to. Go ahead. Okay. I'm going to take me off. There we go.
This is the other item that won Best of Show at iCast. Now, it won in the fly category, but it most certainly is a net for a lot of anglers, especially a small boat angler, a wade angler, something like that. This is what we call our floating trout net. It's got the full conservation bag. Everything about it is kind of fits within that, but it's a small one-handed net. You can see it's designed just for one hand. It's got a nice curve to it, so it fits your hand well. It comes with a carabiner and a cord to hold it in place. But the cool thing about this net is it's designed to float flat on the surface of the water, just like this.
Yeah.
So if you're wade fishing, if you're catching a fish, if you most certainly are wanting to return them loose, you can land the fish, lay the net on the water. The fish will stay in it. You can unhook them. You don't even have to get them out of the water if you don't want to. If you know it's undersized or a small one, or a species you're not intending to catch and you just want to get rid of it, it's perfect for that. It makes it really easy. There's 5 of these in different hoop sizes, but this one Best of Show at iCast as well. This was our other winner this year.
That's like perfect for all those out west fly fishermen that are fishing Yellowstone and Glacier and all those creeks where you just want it to drag behind you as you're walking or wading down the thing with your waders on, and having that so you could just quickly grab the fish, unhook it, and never have to take the trout out of the water.
Yeah,
you're going to sell 1 million of those things.
Yeah, this is one of the items that we sell a lot of nets this size because the price point is really good. They start at $17.99.
Oh my gosh!
So really inexpensive. Guys use them for a lot of things. They're a great net to just have in a kayak or a small boat.
I'm going to buy one of those. Yeah, I'm going to buy one of those. I could see myself.
Stick it right behind your back.
Yeah.
You're in a backpack.
Exactly.
Like that. It's good for all that kind of stuff. So, yep.
Awesome.
So, yeah, 5 different SKUs in this family, but they all float. And like I said, the big secret here is that they float nice and flat. Some nets float with the handle up.
Yeah.
But these will actually float right on the surface of the water. It's just a great little advantage. And we're just excited to kind of update this family of nets and still keep them affordable.
How long does something like that last net from innovation to now finally seeing it. How long is that time period of testing and doing all the other stuff?
We have been working on next year's iCast items for about 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
So we start, a lot of times we meet with our pros in the January, February, March timeframe. Because of consumer shows, we get a chance to be face to face with them. They've got a little downtime. So we start a lot of the design work early in the year for the next iCast. So if you think about it like that, that would be 18 months.
Wow.
Some things go way faster. If we don't have to retool, if it's just a cosmetic change, it would be much quicker. If you're truly innovative, like we talked yesterday with the Edge design and some of that, sometimes our engineers have an idea for years before they can kind of turn it into reality or find the technology to do it or the material, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So,
I think at one time, didn't you have, I don't know his last name. His name was Brian. He was on the pro staff. I thought he was with y'all. Brian.
there's Brian Latimer is on our pro staff.
I know B-Lat. Everyone knows him.
B-Lat.
He's
Yep.
unbelievable. This guy was a ice fisherman, I think it was. But,
Brian Brosdahl.
yes, that guy's the best.
Yeah, the bro.
Is that what I just call him Brian? I didn't know we were supposed to call him the bro. Now I feel like I'm out of the loop. So
Everybody calls him bro.
okay, yeah, that dude. He does great. He's a great angler and a great dude too.
Yeah. Brian has been with us a very long time. We up north we do what we call the Bro Tour, and right before ice season, we started in November. He makes about 30 stops around Wisconsin, Michigan, Northern Illinois, Minnesota, the Dakotas, goes into small tackle stores and does seminars
Really?
in person and teaches people about ice fishing. Yep. So it's called the Bro Tour up north. So Frabill, Fish Monkey Gloves, let's see, who else is involved in that? A Northland Tackle, Humminbird Electronics, Aquaview. We team up and sponsor him to go do product seminars and just get people excited about ice fishing across the northern U.S. So.
That's cool. Yeah, he's a great dude. I haven't talked to him, and man, I think I met him. Normally I'd see him right now at iCast. I think.
Yep. I talked to him Thursday. In fact, we talk about once a month at least.
Yeah,
sure.
one of the first people I ever met in the industry was him.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know I don't know where I met him. Might have been at like the first iCast, but I remember going up to him and saying, "I've seen you," like having like a little fan experience, and I think he was like, "Who the hell is this big fat dude? Why is he bothering me?" But then he was like open and honest and just humble and a good dude, and just one of the good guys. I remember every time I think of Frabill, I think of him of all things.
Well, he's been one of our pro staff for a very long time, and has been kind of the face of Frabill, especially up north. Panfish, walleye, ice fishing, most certainly. That's he likes it when it's like 0 and down.
Yeah, Well, he's a big dude too. We don't like this warm weather crap we got going out here. We don't like this stuff, man. When you walk out to go take out the garbage and you come in and you have to change your shirt because you're sweating so much, something's wrong with that.
It's a little sticky right now.
It's warm. Well, Chris, I really do appreciate your time again today. I loved learning. To be honest, I enjoyed this. Well, I enjoyed yesterday quite a bit. I enjoyed this more because I don't know much about nets. So learning about something new is always fantastic, in my opinion.
Well, we're glad to help out. And it's funny you say that because we face that challenge. Is many people you kind of overlook the net.
You do.
You've got this lure you fall in love with over its color. You feel a lot of confidence in. You've got your favorite rod and reel. You've got electronics that you're all excited about. At the end of the day, though, that net better work every time, or you're mad about it.
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor, get one that's a good quality net. We prefer mine, but of course anybody's would be worthwhile instead of those real inexpensive ones, and you'll appreciate it in the long run.
Excellent. Everyone go to frabill.com to check it out. Chris, again, I appreciate the time. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone, but hold on. I just want to say goodbye to you personally. So everyone, remember a few things. Take a kid fishing, get your fish on, and thank you for watching.